Please Come Back, written by Tony Pilot. The newly crowned Princess Twilight Sparkle was brought out of the castle in her own chariot before she jumped out to trot and sang alongside her friends. Ponies lined the city streets to witness the coronation parade. Twilight took flight on her new wings, hollering, "Yes, everything is going to be just fine." Then she spotting something blue under her. It looked like a little blue locomotive. "It's Thomas! Thomas the tank engine!" She gasped in surprise. "But what is he doing here?" She flew down to Canterlot Station and landed on the platform. "Hey there, Thomas!" Twilight called out with a friendly smile. But when she looked at Thomas's face, she saw that he looked very sad and weeping. "Hello, Princess Twilight Sparkle," he said very quietly, which wasn't really quiet at all. "Thomas, what's wrong?" asked Twilight, worried. "Now that you're a princess," sniffed Thomas sadly, "I am fearing that I'll never see you again, since you have royal duties to attend to. And that means I will be all alone," he sobbed. Thomas puffed sadly away, back to Sodder. Twilight Sparkle watched him leave. "Thomas!" she shouted. "Wait!" She spread out her new wings, flew after him. "Thomas, wait!" she shouted to him. "Narrator!" But Thomas would not wait, and before Twilight could stop him, he dashed through the tunnel to the island of Sodder, and was gone. "Thomas, stop!" Twilight Sparkle cried out. "The tunnel is blocked on the other side!" But the tunnel wasn't. She could not hear she could not hear Thomas crash. She only heard his sad goodbye whistle, which sounded like "Bleep." Twilight sadly looked through the tunnel. "Thomas, no!" Twilight threw herself onto the ground and sobbed. Cries! Back on Sodder, Thomas would sadly these words, they do not speak well to me. Back on Sodder, Thomas was sadly in Tidmouth sheds, quietly sobbing and weeping over the loss of his best pony girlfriend. Apparently she's a girlfriend. I do not know how this is possible and how they're going to make babies. Unless they want the weird pony-shaped locomotives. Yeah. "Why should Twilight's destiny be fulfilled?" he sobbed. "Why can't I be a good friend and support her?" Tears flowing freely down his face. Why should she have become a princess? Now I'm gonna be all alone. "You will never be alone. Her duties is never going to prevent her seeing you again," said a soft voice out of nowhere. Thomas was startled. Who's there?" he called, looking around to see where the voice came from. Within some shining magic, Princess Celestia appeared. "Princess Celestia?" Thomas gasped. "What are you doing here?" "I came here to tell you that a faithful student of mine misses you," came Celestia's reply. "But a princess always has royal duties to attend to, and I can't take it." Thomas sobbed, weeping quietly, which wasn't really quiet. Princess Celestia came up to a distraught tank engine, nuzzling High Mon the cheek with comfort. "I know, but she too is feeling the same way when you have duties to attend to. But being away from our friends doesn't mean that it's never a goodbye forever," she told Thomas. I even thought I was never going to see my sister again when she was trapped on the moon for 1,000 years. But I learned that being reunited with one another is the bond of true friendship that you will feel in your heart. You mustn't let this whole thing get to you. She too has a life to live than being a princess all the time. She still has friends that she never forgets and will always stay in touch. Yeah! But she misses you too, since you ran away like that. I think that you should head back to Equestria, reunited with her again, just like I once reunited with my sister." "She's right, Thomas," said another voice. "It was Sir Tompin Hat, and I will come with you along with your friends." Thomas looked up and smiled. "You know, you're right. It is never too late to say goodbye. She does have friends she sees every day, and so do I," he said, now understating. Twilight Sparkle never wants me to be sad, and I never want her to feel the same too. Thank you, Your Majesty. I must hurry. I'm setting a course to the Castle of Canterlot. Thomas blew his whistle loudly, steamed out of the sheds quickly. Back in Equestria, Twilight's princess coronation party was sad, and Twilight still missed Thomas. Pinkie Pie was jumping excitedly up and down, laughing, but when she saw how sad her friend Twilight was, she calmed down and walked over to her. Twilight, what's wrong? Pinkie asked. She was worried for her friend. Sniff! I lost the greatest friend I ever made. I was trying to make things better with Thomas, but... Twilight sobbed. Starts to cry a little. He has to leave me because I have royal duties, and I'll never see my best friend again. Starts to cry. All of Twilight's friends felt sorry for her. You poor Twilight, come here, said Pinkie Pie softly, hugs Twilight with comfort. There. Come on, Twilight, Rainbow Dash replied. It's never too late to say goodbye. It's never a goodbye forever. That's right, Sugar Cube, Applejack added. Thomas will come back and see you someday. I know this, because W are all your friends too, and Thomas knows that as well, Fluttershy reassured. Just then, beep, beep, they heard a very familiar whistle. Did you hear that? Said Rarity, surprised. Wait, is that? Spike asked. Twilight Sparkle. Thomas? And there, outside the castle, was Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends. Thomas, with tears in his eyes, puffed at full steam towards her, blowing his whistle fit to burst. Twilight! He cried. Twilight Sparkle began to shed tears of joy as well. Thomas! She cried back and flew towards him, stopped and hugged him. You came back! She sobbed. I'm sorry, Twilight. Sniff. I'm so sorry. Thomas. I can't. What the? Thomas sobbed as Twilight hugged him. I was being a very silly engine. Shh, that's okay. You're not silly, Twilight said, leaking a few tears. But what made you come back? She did, replied Gordon, as Princess Celestia appeared. It was her who helped Thomas, added Percy. That's right, Thomas began. She opened my thoughts and helped me see clearly in the end. But now, I know you'll hate me after what I've been through. Thomas was fearing the worst. No, I don't hate you, Thomas, Twilight Sparkle said. I know that you can see me again, and it was your choice to decide if you want to see someone you love and care for. I felt just like that when my children Lenny and Rini left Equestria as well, because they I'm gonna burp. There we go. Anyway, back to the episode. I felt just like that when my children Lenny and Rini left Equestria as well, because they love her just so much like you, added Princess Celestia. But Thomas, I'm so happy you're back. I promise I'll never leave you forever. Twilight begged as she purple alicorn princess nuzzled. Twilight begged as what the? Did he even proofread this? Twilight begged as she purple alicorn princess nuzzled the little number 1 tank engine on the cheek. Thank you for cheering me up, Thomas said, shedding out a tear of joy. That's what friends are for, said Rainbow Dash. That's not Rainbow Dash, that's Scootaloo. What are you doing here? Yes, we always have each other, added James. You're welcome, Thomas, Twilight replied. I will always be with you forever. Everybody was so happy by the sight of Thomas and Twilight Sparkle being reunited that they cheered and applauded, and the Soda System engine blew their whistles of joy. Twilight's princess coronation had turned into a sentimental family reunion. The end!